vague description of a possible audition happening, and I had a callback in the same building, so I went to the callback, had a great time at my callback, and then afterwards I was supposed to go meet my sister, and I was like, oh, I should go to this audition, should I not go to this audition? I just had a great callback, maybe I'm in the mood, I don't know. So I was like, all right, you're here, you might as well just go. I wasn't gonna go because I was like, I have no idea what this audition is about because someone didn't post any information. So I was like, I have no idea what I'm walking into. Went downstairs, I actually ran into this lovely lady when I was waiting outside. Went inside, was told that it was all improv. I was given a couple of improv scenes to just kind of work through. Yeah, and so then I auditioned, and then Eddie called me in and said, hey, you're kind of okay, why don't you do this thing? And I said, yeah, I guess. No, I'm kidding. I said, yes, please, thank you. I swear I'm gonna do as best I can for you, I promise. And that was the end of that.
Yeah, how did you hear about the production?
Very simply on the Second City for Actors website. Or Facebook group.
Yeah.
Do you want me to elaborate?
Yeah, tell the story.
Sure.
Were you originally auditioned for?
Actually, yeah, I originally auditioned for Molly's part. See, I don't do well with names either. Tara Rose's part, but they wanted a girl next door type, and clearly not the type. But I had to cut my horns off at birth, okay? But Eddie liked my audition so much he wrote the role in for me. And the weird part is I did know a guy called TJ who I fell for, who was with a girl called Molly, and he lied to me about it. So I was in the exact same scenario that Tara Rose was at the audition, so I thought that was pretty funny.
Will?
Yeah, I was doing someone else's D1, and afterwards we went to the 1104 building at Columbia, and I was just kind of walking around, and I was like, yeah, I'll audition for this, might as well. And then I walk in, and he's like, blah, 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 it's all improvised, we're doing something completely different, we're doing something in VR. I'm like, whoa, whoa, holy crap, like, so much information. He's just like, do this, and I was like, sure. I was asked to be drunk. So I was playing like a drunk lieutenant who had accidentally walked into like boot camp, hammered, and I was like, that was cool. And then I had a call back, and then we just kept going, and wow, yeah, now we're here.
All right, now you mic. We're gonna share a mic.
So I found out about this from a website called Facebook. Eddie posted a little thing about how he's looking for an audio guy and a DP, and I was like, oh, I mean, I can do both those things for you. And then luckily we had an excellent audio engineer, Lewis. So that I didn't have to do both those jobs. And yeah, this was actually my first thing that I've ever DP'd, so it was a great experience. I couldn't have done it without my crew, my camera ops. You were both amazing, and yeah.
Being an extra on set, I didn't know until yesterday I had a meeting with Eddie that this whole thing was an improv show. I did not know that. I thought it was like scripted and everything, so I want to know how it was like for you guys to do improv show as well as like being acting on, and especially being DP, you kind of have to like know what they're going to do in order to shoot it. So how is it like to shoot something that is constantly changing and evolving? You want to start, Mike?
Sure.
Yeah, start.
It was quite the challenge at first, but after like getting the hang of like a feel for like around what the actors wanted to do with the improv, we kind of, like the camera crew and I, we all worked with each other to get the shots that we felt like best illustrated the mood.
We kind of, Eddie gave us the story, and we kind of just built every scene together, me and Alicia and Eddie, in rehearsals, like line by line. So it might as well have been scripted, only instead of lines, like the lines are different every time. Which was awesome, and I think it just made it more real and kind of made each character tailored to us. Yeah.
I guess a couple things on my end. I'm primarily an improv artist, so for me this was like a dream come true. I've been doing improv for a few years, and I've wanted to do a show like this for a while, but every time I pitched it to my friends, they're like, but the production and the editing, and so I found someone who had the dream big enough to want to do it. And I guess as far as my scenes, we didn't really rehearse anything, but Eddie would come in and say, this is the end goal I want, and go for it. And we just kind of ran with it. And I thrive on creating things in the moment, which we couldn't stop saying over and over. So I just had such a great time just living it as it happened, instead of relying on the script, so.
No, building off what Will said, it was really great to work with people who are improv based, because I'm mostly theatrically based, so I get a lot of scripts and I just memorize. So it's very interesting to work with improv people and see how flexible I am as a character, as a creator, I guess. And it was really phenomenal to get to work with Will and Myriam and Aleix and Eddie and just build from the ground up. Whatever we came up with was what happened. So, yeah.
So it's very interesting, because when I did audition, when I did the casting call, I was very vague but very specific on character types. And it's so funny, they forgot to mention that I actually gave them a fake script, had them read it twice, spent 10 minutes to get, the nervousness out. People are really nervous when they come in. It's just like, I'm nervous right now. So you know what I mean? Like, it's nerve-wracking. And so, and then I stopped and said, I'm gonna take the script, and then I'm like, okay, now you have to do this improv scene. Go, you have a minute. And then at the very end, I was like, okay, the script you just read isn't a real script. It's improv-based, surprise. I'll call you back. And that was kind of it. But it was interesting because my good friend Shannon and I wrote the show, and she and I, our schedules were so hard. It was a miracle that we coordinated as much as we did. And then something happened with her in her personal life, so we couldn't get that script out. And I had worked on the set of Joe Swanberg's Easy on Netflix, it's original series, and kind of what inspired me. I was an extra, but I ended up getting to sit next to him and watch him direct and do this kind of format. And I really liked it because I think it tells stories in an interesting way, and I wanted a show that was Chicago based and just things from my life. And so I said, you know what, I don't need a script, let's run with it. So, and it was literally down to these amazing people. If they didn't come and audition, that was the deciding factor of if I was going to do this or not, is holding a 4-hour audition and 11 people showed up and they ended up walking through the door. So I'm so thankful.
So it sounds like every one of you, when you answered, you guys mentioned other people's name, and this really seemed like a collaborative process. I have one question for Mike. This was your first time as a DP, right? You said that?
Yeah.
How did you come up with the visual look of the shoot?
Prior to going on set, Eddie and I talked a lot about a basic workflow for what we wanted to do. Eddie premeditated a couple of the shots that he wanted to specifically get. And then after that, I would after I see, what we would do is we would have the actors play out what they would say, what they would do. We would get one camera on TJ, one camera on Molly, and so on, and we'd make sure that we just have a good collaboration between all the camera ops, who each had their own view of how they wanted to do it, and I wanted to make sure that those were also within the show.
Something that kind of saved us is that camera prep day. We just got in, I don't even know how many hours. It was a lot. We literally laid out all the gear, and then we just rehearsed again and walked it through and created the sets and whatever, and it worked. So,
there was some dancing.
And Mike is amazing because to watch him literally we created the lighting at we were shooting one other scene, and then we came back and they were lighting the scene while we were somewhere else, and it was so cool, and it was so coordinated, and Mike's willingness to command and really take charge and get shit done. That was what he did, and so.
The next question is for Myriam. You spoke about the Molly character being someone that was like in your life, like kind of intruding. How was it to how did you tap into Molly's character when it's someone that you're not particularly fond of?
Well, I'm not fond of her. I actually feel bad for her that she has such a shitty boyfriend. So, while I was in a position of, I guess, jealousy, I definitely didn't, not jealousy, while I wished that she didn't exist in the sense that I could be with TJ, I also felt bad for her because she was with TJ and TJ wasn't a good person. So I had to put myself in those shoes, knowing that she has no idea. And she thinks she's with the love of her life, and he is fucking with her behind her back. And then she finds out, because my TJ ended up dumping her within a few weeks, so.
Something else, in the behind the scenes, you said that you left the corporate world to join acting.
Yes.
And then you also said you're very improv, you have a very improv-based background.
Yes.
How was it like to make the switch from being in a corporate world to being in an acting, just environment?
It was very easy, because when I was corporate, I got told you can't say that a lot. And now I get told, no, please say that more.
That sounds like an amazing switch. And the next question I have is for Alicia. Eddie told me that you moved from New York to Chicago, is that true?
They laugh because they moved with me. Yes, I moved from New York to Chicago.
Okay, the first question I have is just something that I want to ask.
Sure.
Which pizza is better, New York pizza or Chicago pizza?
All right, so I'm gonna go with the if you know me, you know I eat what's put in front of me. I'm not picky, so if it's food and can be consumed, I will eat it.
You just can't be touching other food.
It just, thank you, Mick. See, they know me. We bonded. We really did. I have this thing my food can't touch. We'll get into it later. Right now is not the time. Talking about pizza.
Apart from food, how was the move from New York to Chicago? Can you tell us a little bit?
Stressful but amazing. Actually, last year, my friend Becca and I, we spotlight. We were working in this job that was a lot in many ways. So one day I looked at her and I said, "Hey, do you want to move to Chicago?"
Sure.
Exactly. Reenactment just happened there, ladies and gentlemen.
Improv.
Improv.
Living in the moment. What?
So yeah, and we packed up one day. We decided to move. We found an apartment. I drove a truck for 12 and a half hours. She drove her car, and we made it happen. We came here, and that was that.
Okay, one last question to Will before we go to Eddie. Do you know how to play the guitar? Because in the behind the scenes you're strumming.
I'm really bad. I'm super mediocre. I know like 3 chords, which work for Semi-Charmed Life, but can also work for Knocking on Heaven's Door. So that's like my go-to. Yeah, I fiddle.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that you consider yourself
I don't.
That. On set, I was like, ooh, he's a guitar player, because I was just like, you were really comfortable with the guitar.
Guys, I'm not good at guitar.
Yes.
I have a question. I had not known you cut your hair. What? I didn't even recognize him. I was
Guys, I
like,
played
who
TJ.
are you? I looked at him it took me a little bit. So what's the backstory there? Has my web series influenced you that much? Did I stress you out that much that you pulled out all your hair and
I
had to
sunk
cut it?
so deep into the character of TJ, I had to remove myself. I moved to Iceland for a month. I went on a strictly nut diet for a month and shaved my head.
All kinds of nuts.
Yeah, all kinds of
He
nuts.
doesn't live in himself, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I just wanted to cut my hair short again, and they had a deal at Sport Clips. Free haircut for first-time customers, so I was like, that's the only opportunity in which I'll cut my hair.
Thanks for
Literally,
joining
that's
us from Iceland. Must have been a trip.
It was great, it was great.
So, Eddie, I have questions for you now. How did you conceptualize the story of the show? I know you talked about sitting down with your friend Sharon, but can you tell us more?
I and kind of an open book, literally. I wrote a book, so I feel like as an artist, you know, when you want something good that, you know, hits people right here, you gotta like tap into your personal life. And my friend Shannon and I had met in screenwriting, writing the short, a year ago, and we were in class together, and then one day she just texted me, she was like, can we have coffee? Like, can we go get coffee? And so we did, and then we started talking about the relationships we were in at the time. We were both in like really, like, I don't know, interesting situations. And that's all I'll say. And we just talked about this so much, and I'm like, oh my God, we need to like write this down. So every week we would write little notes in my phone notes, and I would send her this, and I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And then when I was like, we need to do something with this. So I booked space to get into a room every 4 hours on Monday, because that was the only time we had, and we wrote on the walls, and we just got everything out from our life, and I was in this horrible, like, toxic relationship, and I literally took that situation that was like eating me inside, and I spit it all over the walls, and it became living in the moment. And it was so interesting because we actually started from who's gonna watch it backwards. So who's gonna watch it to where are they at, to okay, who are the characters, what would they be doing, how old are they, to, you know, backstories in them, and then it just kind of came together. And I think to make something authentic that people, you know, resonate with, and, you know, to kind of heal things with me, it's like, this is my healing, and it also, it you know, hits people like, oh, so that was mostly inspired by one person, so joke's on him.
What you said reminds me of the quote, like, take your broken heart and make it into art. And not only did it like heal you, while watching it, there were a lot of things that I kind of had to look away just because it was like so close to the heart. And as well as for Myriam, it's so bizarre, like Molly, TJ, like what are the odds? And being on set, like this was such a welcoming and professional set. I want to ask you about how it was like to work with everyone.
Oh my God, okay. Can we have tissues? I'm gonna cry. No, probably, I mean, I'm gonna hold myself together. When I started the idea of the show, it was like, okay, can I get, you know, actors? And then 11 people showed up to the audition, right? And then I was like, okay, now I have to find a crew in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I just, yeah, it was a little less than that. And I'm like, we have to rehearse it, and then I just started thinking about all the people that I met here at Columbia and like my past 3 years, and just, we ended up becoming a family, and like that's the greatest experience you could ever have with, you know, I just remember being like 13 and wanting to do stuff and imagine doing this kind of stuff, and then to like be surrounded by like 30 people, and they brought me blankets and slippers, and you know, everyone, we just got so close, and like everyone, it's crazy because I feel like I've been on sets where it's so rigid and like people don't talk to each other after, you know, but like I feel like we've really become a family, and like collaboration was key to this, and it would not look the way it did, and it wouldn't have come out the way it did if it wasn't for like all of you. So I'm so thankful, because like I just had the idea, you know, on a piece of paper, and you guys really made that idea come to life, and you know, it's, I couldn't even imagine that up. I remember writing it and like looking at that, and I'm just like, oh my God. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Now should we take some Twitter questions?
Let's take them.
Okay. First two are from me. Who drew the blue-haired girl on the wall of Tara's room?
Emily!
Ooh, that's amazing. That was so beautiful. Whoop, whoop! And the second, what did TJ puke out in front of Tara's apartment?
Everything. Tammy? Tammy.
Tammy.
It's a mix of oatmeal, mostly oatmeal mixed with mango juice.
But you don't like
Yum.
this, right? What's that?
Butter?
I love mango.
Water. Water
Yeah,
mango
I love
juice.
mango. I don't like oatmeal at all.
But he told me.
Okay, so I first had stirred the oatmeal in the water, right? And then I had mango juice, and I was like, I should put it, he's like, don't put that in there. And I'm like, Tammy, we're putting it in there.
It actually helped a lot. It made it taste
And then
tangy.
props to Alicia, because you didn't even see, he had a glass that he sipped like literally 2 seconds, she grabbed the glass and like hit it very well. So props to you to actually making it. Because throw up scenes in, you know, anything's very hard to get believable, and I believed it. I mean,
Me too.
been there, done that.
This third one is, what do you hope from the show? Do you want it to go big? I want it to go big. I want you guys to like be famous. It's amazing. But
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody, go ahead.
Yes. I'm open to all possibilities with this. This, like Eddie said, this was amazing. Working with the people we got to work with, like just doing it all was a really great experience, especially being new to Chicago and meeting people and learning all of that. This was by far something that was very inspiring and awesome to be a part of. So, just yes. I mean, even if it was we got together on weekends and we filmed it on my phone, I would do it.
Absolutely, especially because it's one of these projects that was just so much fun working on.
I really have no idea what the craziest thing was, because Eddie was just everything. And even now, he's been so phenomenal. He and I he's one of the people that I stay in contact with the most, and I don't know, I can't say crazy because everything he's done has been so loving and inspiring and caring towards me. I mean, it's just been a give and take from day one with him, so I don't know. It's just, it's everything. It's Eddie. Everybody, it's Eddie. That's all I have.
It's Eddie. And I'll have to say that I agree with that. Like, it was not so much crazy, but very loving. Like I said before, like, this project is your baby, or now was, because it's here. It's here. We're in the moment. But yeah, I still remember the first day when we were at the bar, and it was also the first snow of the year. And after that, somebody was trying to tow your car. And I just remember everybody just like going crazy, like, oh no, and I was just like, what's happening? I was totally clueless of the whole thing until like the situation was all like figured out, and I was like,
We're all standing around at the bar, we're trying to get this last shot done, we're trying to figure everything out, we're trying to just move on to the next location because it's already like an hour past our call. We're like, shit, we just gotta go, everyone just smile. So we were trying to push through, and then she comes bursting through the door. They're towing our cars! They're towing the cars! And everyone's like, no. Who? What? There's cars? Who's towing? What's towing?
The rest of the...
And so we all just ran around screaming, and then cars were moved. No one was towed, thankfully. We got the shots done. We ate some sandwiches. We went to my apartment. I got a little lost on my way to my apartment. It was fine. I got locked out of my own apartment. Amazing things happened, guys. We got the shots done. It was fine. You're welcome.
You know, when you've been dreaming of something for, you know, since you were 11 years old, you know, and, you know, I had asked friends, I'm like, how do I deserve this? You know, I called them like crying. I'm like, how do I deserve this? What? I don't know. I've been going and going since I was 11 years old doing this. And like, I don't know. I think it's a combination of the powerful energy from you guys and positive. And so, as far as the show goes, Shane Dawson and I will have an episode. In fact, that he tweeted me and said, come on my show. And you can see it on. So I want to thank every single crew member and everyone for coming today. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming out to spend the evening with us. If you want to watch it, stay tuned to Eddie's YouTube channel, and when he drops it, you guys will get to see it. Also, please post all pictures that you have tonight with the hashtag LITM web series. I would like to give some special thanks. The first is to Eddie's mom, Bonnie Jizagowski. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Myriam, who is the auto technician in this web series. She added all like the realistic sounds and just spent the last month really vamping it up so it's as realistic as we saw it to be. And third, we have to thank Lindsay Emery for the photographer for photographing. The photos are gonna be so dope. And lastly, I would like to thank the Friday Pilots Club and Spilt Milk Society for all the music. It was so good, like the background score, it was amazing. It was really, yeah, so thank you to them. Thank you, Eddie, thank you.
And everyone give Coco a round of applause.
Thank you guys. Feel free to take photos with the people because they're gonna be, yeah. Thank you guys so much. That is it. Have a wonderful evening.